All right, so let's go. If you had to do like how in all of those startup workshops, they make you explain your idea in 6 words. Go.
In 6 words,
Yes.
AI powered tool for veterinary communication.
Very good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Designer and Developer Having Coffee, Designer and Developer Building a Product in Line, Designer and Developer Talking Nonsense about different tech stuff. Yeah, Designer and Developer just being a goofy designer and a goofy developer. I am the goofy developer in the duo, and Tom is a goofy designer. So, Tom, please introduce yourself.
Okay, well, welcome everybody to the episode 2 of season 2 of us building a product on a podcast, which is gonna be extremely fun. I can already see that. All of our listeners are crazy. We got a lot of inbox messages from people saying this is the best thing ever. Would be something I would say if I was not lying. And but yeah, today's topic is how to brainstorm an idea, how to decide what you're going to build, and we're going to be talking about how we got to the idea that we have. And I know that Mario has some very, 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 very smart things that he wants to share, and he's already all prepped up and ready to go. So Mario, you start.
I start. So, first of all, we have divided this whole thing about building a product into sort of steps and sort of different topics. But basically, it's an iterative process, and you will have to go through one, two, three, then go back to one, repeat one, two, three, and so on. So today we're gonna talk about thinking about your idea. But after you do an idea, you're gonna have to check for the market size. You're gonna have to check if that's a problem actually exists. If it doesn't, then you'll need to revamp your idea. But we'll get to that later. For now on, let's talk about the initial seed of inspiration. So a lot of people are out there, thinking, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to build a product. I want to build a huge company that has a tech product, and then I want to sell it, and then I want to make zillions of money and live in the Maldives and all of that. And a lot of people are like really ready to go, except they don't have that $1 billion idea. So let me break the first myth. $1 billion ideas don't exist. Or let me be a little bit more precise. Very, very few $1 billion ideas exist. There exist ideas. Ideas are generally worthless. What is worth is execution of the idea. So you don't have to have a brilliant, new, nobody thought of it, I'm going to make energy out of water idea. You just have to have a regular idea, see if people actually have that problem, and then build a thing around it. That's it. It's as simple. It doesn't have to be brilliant. It doesn't have to be innovative. You can copy something that works in a different market and adapt it to work in your market. There's so much stuff you can do. The only thing is the idea that you pick and that you want to build your business on top of needs to be something that you are willing to be persistent with and not give up on for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's why the thing that works best is if you have an idea that actually solves a problem that you are having, so that you can be passionate about it, and so that you can say, okay, this is going to solve my problem. And as it solves my problem, it's going to solve problems of other people that are just like me.
It's great. I'm going to just flip it on the other side and say their $1 billion ideas or $1 million ideas or whatever money ideas are plentiful. They're everywhere. Every idea can be a $1 million idea, maybe, if you execute it properly. So the thing is that it's not that idea don't exist. The execution is the difficult part. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people come with, hey, I have an idea for an app. Cool. Yeah, right. I saw a really, really good meme a couple of days ago from the movie. Uh, what is the movie? The guy with the really big nose that plays in that World War II. The Pianist, I think, is the movie. The
Oh,
Pianist.
okay.
Okay, The Pianist. The guy has a really big nose, and there's a meme. The guy's coming out from a building. It's World War II movie, right? So he's coming out, and there are the German soldiers standing with a gun, and they say like, "Hey, you're a software developer. We have an idea for an app," and he's like, "Just shoot, just please shoot." And it's very funny because I've seen and heard so many times. Not just seen and heard. I was also to be accused of the same thing of having an idea that it's go like this time next year we're going to be millionaires, and then it's just a matter of finding a developer who's going to build it for you, right? So and here we are now with a brilliant idea, design and developer. We're going to split the load ish. uh, yeah, the tell me, Mario, how do you approach refining the idea once you have an idea?
Uh, so once you have an idea, talk to people because, or let me put it this way: I had one idea, then I didn't talk to people, then I spent money building it, and it's dead. Then I had another really, really cool idea that I talked to three of my friends with. They all said, "Yeah, that's brilliant." Then I built it, and it's dead. So once you have an idea, it does, as I said, it doesn't have to be original. It doesn't have to be brilliant. It doesn't. It has to be something that you're taking care of. So if you play the drums and you have a thing that's teaching you in the drums, like building an online directory of drumless music tracks that are royalty free, uh, uh, find 10 drummers that you don't know, talk to them and see what they go to, drawing meeting, talk to people. Don't be worried about people stealing your idea. People have enough of their own problems. They don't need your idea to be one more of those. So don't worry about that. Talk to people, get as much feedback as you can. The way people approach your idea, the way people understand the idea, the way people see how your idea could solve their problem is very useful feedback that you can take a lot of info from. So use that to your advantage and talk to the people as early as you can, your friends, your spouse, your mother, your, you know, people doing the same thing, people having the same issues. Just talk to them as much as you can to get as much info about it. As you start talking, the idea will become clearer to you will be able to explain your idea clearer to them, but that interaction will also make your idea clearer to you. And that's how I start. How
That's
do you
great.
start?
No, that's I think that's solid advice. I always remember this situation that I witnessed years ago. I think it was now like 6 or 7 years ago. It was a TechCrunch event in London. Oh, even more than it's 8 years now. Before I lived in London, and it was like a meetup thing where you can also pitch at the end of the event. So it was like a bit of a lecture and then networking, and then everybody had like 30 seconds to pitch their idea on the stage, and then ask either for co-founders or we're hiring a developer, whatever the fuck it was. And there was this guy who was walking around the room talking to people, and when people would ask him like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you building?" He would pull out an NDA and say like, "Oh, I cannot tell you, but you need to sign an NDA." And everybody was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna fucking happen." And like Mario said, like nobody will want to steal your idea. I think in the past 10 years, I would bet my life that I heard over 500 ideas for the apps on all the various meetups and all the people I've met. I don't remember the single one of them. I remember a couple of apps that actually went on to build a business of it. And I helped with a couple, but all of the people having ideas, none. And people really don't give a shit about your idea. They really don't. Even if I think we talked about this last time we saw each other, even if Mark Zuckerberg went on and open sourced the entire Facebook, nobody would copy Facebook. People would argue online, why did you use this or that or library of this or whatever the like people would argue. people would not steal the code, so it doesn't mean shit. How I get to ideas in general is, like you said, find a problem to solve. So it's either me being frustrated, but not with my own problems. I'm really good with solving my own problems, but usually I see people having a problem that is easily solvable and they don't know how to solve it. This is where I come up with ideas. Like, this could be such an easy idea to build. And especially when you see people struggling with things that can be solved with technology, but they don't know how to use technology. I met a guy on a meetup in London called Indie Beers, which is for indie hackers. If you're ever in London, it's a really good meetup to hit. And I met a guy who is a doctoral candidate in biochemistry. So he's really not a developer, right? And he was working with some like databases and big sets of data for his studies. And he thought to himself, like, there has to be a way to easily sort through this data and do this and do that, not knowing about how database works, not knowing about how coding works, like nothing. So he still is a bioengineer. And then he discovered Python and SQL and whatever, and then started doing things just to help himself. So he went through some like basic tutorials on how to write 3 lines of Python and how to plug that into a database to sort some data sets and do something. And he literally stumbled upon a multi-million-dollar solution because nobody ever not thought of that, but because he and all of the people he works with are the type of people who are not developers. They are doing the things they know how to do, and they've went to the university learning the things like the people before them had to do the things. So they have no idea how to help themselves. And then you have people who know how to use technology, but they have no idea. I have no idea what kind of problems people who are biochemical engineers, what kind of problems they have in their day-to-day life, and they don't know who to reach out. So he ended up in this meetup. We started talking, and there was a really interesting situation to see where he knows bits of pieces of how this coding works and how that works, but he has no idea how he never learned coding from ground up. So he sees it from a very different perspective. And then some of the developers helped him out, and he's still building this idea. And now that whole thing that he built got bought off by a big company, big pharmaceutical company. I was like, oh, we need this, which was very funny because there's so much opportunities to solve problems. But like you said, if you are doing something that you're not passionate about, you're going to lose interest fairly quickly. I don't see myself ever working in fashion industry. I just don't give a shit about purses and shoes. I don't care. And there are a lot of apps about like, oh, build your own perfect outfit. Like, I don't know how to solve those problems. Well, I'm sure there are way more fashionally inclined designers. I don't know what the word is. Like people who care about how they dress, who can also design an app. I'm not one of those. I could never be the person like, oh, I'm going to join as a co-founder of this fashion app. That will never happen, right?
And I was just about to say, you don't have to even know everything about fashion, but if it's a passion of yours, then it makes sense to go. If you know everything about fashion, but just don't give a damn, don't do it. That's much easier. So, one more thing. Go ahead, sir.
One more thing before you continue is I'm going to do a little break here. I'm just going to go make myself another coffee, and I'm going to edit this bit.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we are back. A few moments later.
A few moments later. So,
a few moments later. Okay, we're back. Okay, you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say your idea doesn't have to solve. So the guy Tom was talking about he solved the big problem for some pharmaceutical industry on big data. Your idea doesn't have to be like that. Your idea can literally be, I don't know, my company doesn't have a normal way to find the phone book of people working in there. Let me build a better one. But before you actually go and build a better one, or you can do it one of 2 ways. You can actually go and build a better one, see it being used in your company, and then go out and ask for other companies if they need it. but that's more expensive, more annoying. Better way is to think of your solution and then go and find 5 other companies and ask them, do you guys have a phone directory? Why don't you? How do you get by? How do you know the number of the guy working in a different department? How do you know the number of the girl working on the third floor? And things like that. And after you talk to people from various companies, various industries, you will see if your idea makes sense. You will already do something like a part of idea verification and market research and things like that, which we're going to talk about later on. But basically, all of those are intertwined, and your idea is good if it solves a problem that actually exists. So think about that. And if a problem actually exists, and if it's a problem that you have, then you're going to be passionate about it, and you're actually going to be willing to work hard to solve it. Otherwise, you'll get into a situation where it's very easy to quit once going gets tough, and going will get tough.
Yeah. We are, I think, next episode 3 is product validation. So we're going to be talking about that next. But the idea that we are actually going to be building on this podcast actually came from my wife's business that she works at, Problem, where a little bit of backstory. So my wife's a vet, and they are extremely busy. So the whole clinic, hospital, whatever we're going to call it, is extremely busy. And there's a lot of back and forth going on between the staff and the clients, where, for example, let's say that your dog has a procedure which is, I don't know, a typical ball removals on a dog, right? So for example, if your dog had his balls removed and snipped, and what they need to do is tell you, okay, this is how you need to take care of the dog afterwards, give him ice cream, give him this medication, whatever it is, and it takes time to write that. And sometimes that's done by the vet, sometimes it's done by the staff who works there, front desk, the reception. They tell you when your appointment is, whatever. There's a lot of back and forth going on. And it's very time consuming, and oftentimes, especially people who are working the reception, are not very versatile in business communication. They never studied business communication. They don't know how to write an email. There's no hello, dear sir and madam, do this, do that. They need to take into account a lot of stuff. So after talking to her, the idea is that what we are trying to build here is sort of an AI-powered tool that's going to help them write those emails quicker, in a way that it's readable and understandable for their clients in a very quick manner. And we're going to be using ChatGPT, which is kind of, we're on the trend now, so doing the thing. So this is the idea. Yeah, it's kind of validated because it comes from a person that has the need for it. But in the next episode, we're going to be talking about how we actually presented the potential solution and how we actually going to be validating it.
And one of the big requirements for this idea is that it is not too large, that it is not too time consuming, that it's something that we can actually build over the course of these shows happening. And it is a problem that actually exists. Over the course of the next few episodes, we're going to be validating the idea, see how many people have that problem, how people are currently working with that problem, and so on, so that we can actually get a good idea on how to approach this, why to approach this, and how to make it as easy as possible for everybody to do it. But yeah, this looks like an idea that could work, that makes sense, that actually solves like a problem. And let's go for it.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I already started putting some things down on paper, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out, because I think it's going to be cool to say, hey, we've done this on a podcast. Everybody can see the actual process of how it looked like. Obviously, we're not going to be live coding and live designing because this is not a tutorial, but I think we are going in with, no long sleeves, no secrets, nothing. I hate when people kind of keep the 10% of secret sauce and then it's buy my book to reveal the fuck off. So we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be very much, this is how we do it. This is how the goulash is made. And yeah, And then hopefully,
this is hopefully how the goulash is made.
well, this is
Because we
hopefully,
don't know how far this is going to go, but let's see.
but we've done this in our lives multiple times, so hopefully we've learned something along the way.
Yep. And hopefully we'll be able to share that, let's say, knowledge across. And also, I think it's pretty obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. We aren't doing everything while recording. So we have talked about a few possible ideas that we could do beforehand. This is the one that won, and it won due to the time restrictions, the difficulty restrictions, and it's a good example restriction. So we have had a few more. We didn't want to do an episode where we would like kind of reenact everything we did and then have it be fake and propped and everything, because we don't do that. We actually want to do this podcast like a real podcast. We sit down and we start talking. So if we've done something beforehand, we're just gonna admit it out loud, and hopefully you won't hate us for it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what people are going to say, because already a couple of people said this is going to be valuable. And as far as I've seen, nobody's done it before. So at least we're going to be failing at something for the first time. First
Yes.
people to fail at something. So that's not bad.
All right, so let's go. If you had to do like how in all of those startup workshops, they make you explain your idea in 6 words. Go.
In 6 words.
Yes.
AI powered tool for veterinary communication.
Very good. Very good.
Sound like I've done this before in my life.
Yeah. Very good.
How would you explain it? I'll give you 12 words.
AI emailing system for. I would not go into veterinary communication. No. Yeah. I would not go into veterinary communication because communication is a lot wider than we're doing, a lot broader. I think we're doing literally, I don't know the exact terminology, but like veterinary reporting or veterinary checkup summaries or something like that. So
Yeah.
AI-powered tool, AI emailing tool for vet check summaries, something like that.
Yeah. Rolls are just off the tongue, right?
But this is why. So generally, when you have these startup workshops and they make you do these exercises, then people say, "Yeah, it's what? It's like a 6-word description of my job. I can come up with a sentence and then just use the first draft." The less time / words you have to do it, the more time it takes to make a good one, because you have to pay attention to every word and weigh every word and try to get as much information into every word as possible. And this is why when people are preparing for their pitch, I usually advise them, normally people think about everything they want to say and then try to cut it down to fit a format. I suggest them, okay, you have a format of 90 seconds. Start with a 6-word pitch of your business. Okay, that's good. Now expand it to a 15-second pitch of your business. Okay, that's good. Now expand it to a 30-second pitch, and now expand it to a 90-second pitch. Because when you do the shorter things first, you really need to focus on what the core value that you're delivering is. And then if you get 15 additional seconds, you say, okay, this core value I'm delivering to these people / companies. And then with an extra 15 seconds, you can say, okay, with this, I can make this amount of money. You really need to zone in on what is the most important. We have a guest on the podcast. For those of you listening to the audio version, Tom's cat just walked across the screen, so we got to see his cat's butt.
His butt in my face.
Yep.
At least my dog is sleeping, so at least it's something. The pitch version, the short version of the distilled version of what you're building, I think, like you said, it's very important because it kind of puts you on a path. But also, what I wanted to add is don't get married to the first idea that you have. it's so easy to get bogged down, entrenched into, oh, this is what we initially started with. But it's completely fine to decide halfway through, like, oh, actually we're gonna change this a little bit, maybe change your target audience, maybe change your core thing that you're doing. Maybe you identify a solution down the line that's easier to deliver to a bigger audience that you can focus on first. So yeah, don't.
Way before Google and way before Ubers and Bolts and automated taxi apps, there was an app in Zagreb in Croatia. You would open it, it would tell you your location, and it would tell you which parking zone you are in so that you can pay for parking. That was the goal of the application.
That still works. I still have it.
That still works. But it actually got a boom. At one point, it got like a boom of, extra 30,000 downloads that season. And people were like, what? We didn't do anything extra. How did we get this boom? It turns out that the tourist board has shared that application to people visiting Zagreb because people would call a cab and then the cab would ask them, where do I pick you up? And people wouldn't know their address. So people used the parking application to actually get their current address so that they would call a cab and tell them, pick me up here.
Very roundabout way about going.
Very roundabout way about going, but it just shows you that maybe your tech is solving a different problem. Maybe your users are using your tech to do something else. Always work with your users in mind. Don't build an app for yourself. If you want to build a product, a business, something that people are going to buy and use, don't necessarily build it for yourself. Build it for your target audience, and always have your target audience in mind.
Also, I'm going to use, if you remember, an app called Foursquare.
Yep. Well, that was ages ago. You're old, dude.
Yeah. So that was a cool app for discovering, for me at least, discovering places to eat. Because Google Maps still hasn't had all of those things integrated, and it doesn't give me the same value that Foursquare gave me, because I had my friends on there. I could see Mario ate this burger in London and he said it was great. So when I land somewhere, I can see where my friends have been, and I know what they like and they know what I like. So it's kind of like, if I know that you like meat and I like meat and you said this place is good, so I know I can go there. And then they decided to split their app in two, where they would have the reviews piece that was basically integrated in Google Maps, and they lost that market completely. And then they had checking into places, into something called Swarm, I think. This is like, oh, you checked into this place with these people, and like you would just go around places and check in. Like, oh, I'm in this coffee place, I check in. But it lost that component. Like, I don't actually give a shit where you are. I want to see the experience you had and what it was your review. And they split that two things apart, and then they both fell apart. So, and they lost their market completely. So yeah, that was an outstanding move, I would say, on their part.
On the other hand, in the data where we are all so concerned about our privacy, an app which said, hey, I'm here, actually got to like a gazillion users.
Yeah, exactly.
Life is weird.
Yeah, people are weird. Well, I think the whole privacy thing, and I know this is way off topic, but the whole privacy thing is being pushed by EU bureaucrats because people actually don't give a shit about their privacy. Actually, majority of people don't give a fuck about their cookies on a website that tracks their email, that they signed up for a newsletter. Like, nobody cares.
It's not only EU. Like the
I know.
privacy movement is there in the US. It's in I'm here. I'm in my office. Everybody can know that I'm in my office. I don't really care. Tonight I'm going to go and play basketball. Everybody can know that I'm going to play basketball. I can give you an address where I'm going to go and play basketball. I'm going to be there from 8:30 till 10 p.m. Like,
people are like, maybe a few hundred celebrities in the whole world and a couple of corrupt politicians are concerned about their whereabouts, and then that's it. Nobody actually. It's not that hard to find out where everybody lives and what their phone number is. So yeah. Anyway, we got off topic. I think we covered everything about the brainstorming idea.
Yeah. So just a quick sum up. When you're thinking of your ideas, don't necessarily waste time waiting for that one ultra revolutionary big zillion-dollar ideas. Just find the pain point, talk to other people, and see if that pain point actually exists. Second, choose an idea that is a pain point that you're close to and that you are going to be willing to see to the end. Most probably, it's going to take you several years to build something that's truly large and mind-blowing. To build a small thing, like a small company that just makes some money on the dough, can take you a lot shorter. Hopefully, we're going to be able to do something like that over the course of these few episodes. But in general, don't wait for a multi-billion idea. Don't worry about your idea. Talk to people. Make something you're passionate about, because the idea is not what is going to make it or break it. Your execution and your persistence is going to be what is going to make it or break it.
Yes, well said.
That
Well
was
done.
me being smart. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
well done.
I'm
Well
all
done.
done for being smart for today. I'm not going to be smart for today anymore. But thanks.
Do you have a terrible joke to share at the end?
I did not. I don't.
If you must, you don't. If you must not, then you do not.
I don't. I actually don't. I don't. You go.
I don't have a bad joke for today, so maybe I'll just cut this part out.
Yes. No, you can leave this part, but we're just going to be evil and leave our 6 listeners deprived of their most favorite part, and that's the bad joke in the end. But next time we can do 2 bad jokes.
You wanna commit to that?
I can, yes. They're going to be 2 bad jokes, and they're also going to be 2 bad jokes. Ha! That joke is like too bad. You get it? Like
I get it.
2 and 2. Like,
Okay.
could
Yeah.
that now be my bad joke for today?
No. Well, maybe. Like, what do you get when you combine a rhetorical question and a bad joke? Okay, cool.
Very
Anyway,
good. Well,
exactly.
I see what you did there.
Thank you everybody for listening. It was great not seeing you because we are not live. Maybe, who knows, one day. Mario, I'll see you in the next one.
Enjoy, people, and thank you for listening, whoever was listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.